Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Swiftie1989. If you can hear that, it just rained, so there's going to be droplets of rain. But today we're going to play the campaign trail. This right here. I'm playing as Kamala Harris, to see if I can get justice for her. Because, as we know, she lost the election last year. Not horribly, but she lost. So, we're playing as Harris. We're going to continue. I don't know why pictures aren't loading, but probably my internet. Anyways, our options are Tim Walz, Josh Shapiro, Andy Beshear, and Mark Kelly. Let's read each of the descriptions. Name: Tim Walz, Party Democratic, home state Minnesota. So, if you don't know, and you're not caught up with politics and everything, Tim Walz was Harris's running mate in 2024. So, Tim Walz boasts six House terms representing rural Minnesota and 6 more years as governor, wielding a Democratic trifecta to pursue a boldly progressive agenda. His humble background as a public school teacher and a U.S. Army soldier gave him an attractive biography, especially compared to the distraught J.D. Vance. If you don't know, and you're not caught up with politics, J.D. Vance is our current United States Vice President. Anyways, it's worth noting that some progressives may take issues with Walt's support for the Minneapolis Police Department and his quick activization of the National Guard during the 2020 Black Lives Matter protest. Also, Minnesota is already expected to go to Harris this year, although Walz can be helpful in neighboring Wisconsin. Okay, so there's Walz. First option, Josh Shapiro, Democrat from Pennsylvania. So, again, if you don't know, Harris lost Pennsylvania in the 2024 election, so he could possibly help us win Pennsylvania. 2 years ago, Josh Shapiro romped to victory in the Keystone State, crushing Trump-endorsed Doug Mastriano by nearly 15 percentage points. Young, moderate Jewish, and with powerful oratory skills, Shapiro would virtually guarantee Harris the state of Pennsylvania and its 19 electoral votes, crucial for an electoral college victory. Elsewhere, though he may cause some problems, his strong support for private school vouchers and his empathetically pro-Israel record, including volunteering for the IDF, would greatly dishearten the progressive base, and the questions persist about his office's roundly criticized response to a sexual harassment scandal involving one of his closest aides last year. Ooh. We get him. It'll help us win Pennsylvania, but it might hurt me in some other key states because a sexual harassment scandal. Maybe. Okay, Andy Beshear. There we go. Democrat, Kentucky. Andy Beshear is one of the most popular Democrat governors in this country, maintaining strong approvals in Donald Trump won in 2020 by a wide margin. His record of crisis leadership is even more impressive, and he has made headlines as a relentless defender of LGBTQ+ rights in a solid red state. His electoral success in such a red state is... I cannot read today. His electoral success in such a red state is indicative of strong crossover appeal, and his folksy southern accent could contrast well with the big city prosecutor persona of Kamala Harris. He is definitely untested on the national stage, and his native Kentucky is not considered winnable this year. So big on LGBTQ+ rights? Could. I'm not saying he might. I mean, he could help me win Kentucky, which is just 8 electoral votes. Yeah. So, maybe. He's an optional pick. Shapiro, and then there's Mark Kelly. State, Arizona, Democrat, blah, blah. Also, if you don't know, Harris also lost Arizona in the 2024 election, so, yeah. Over the past 4 years, Mark Kelly has defeated his Senate seat twice, proving his remarkable staying power in a state that, despite being won by Joe Biden 4 years ago, is still considered light red at the local level. His impressive electoral record, combined with his star power as a Gulf War naval aviator and a veteran NASA astronaut, made him a likely formidable choice for running mate. However, he is not the most captivating public speaker, and his elevation to the vice presidency would put his Senate seat up for grabs in a 2026 special election, coinciding with the Democrats' six-year itch midterm and providing a potential gain for Republicans. So pick him, and there's an open seat for Republicans, which means more power to the Republicans. So, Tim Walz, Josh Shapiro, Andy Beshear, and Mark Kelly. I think I might go with Beshear. Yeah, I'm going to go with Beshear. He could help me win Kentucky, which is a good thing, especially since it's a pretty solid red state. So, continuing on. Winner take all. 25 questions, normal, continue. Alright, Harris Beshear. So, we'll start with the questions in a little bit, but here's the current electoral vote status. Harris is winning. Not by a lot, but she's winning. Some vulnerable states right now are Michigan, where we're tied, Pennsylvania, where I'm up by a lead, just by 1.1%, and Nevada, where I'm up by 2. Not doing too good in Kentucky, though. So, anyways, here we go. Within days of Biden's withdrawal, you have consolidated virtually all Democrat support and racked up enough pledged delegates to become the presumptive nominee. Polls include a surge in your favorabilities, and you've rapidly moved within striking distance of Trump. What kind of theme do you want your candidate to take on? A, we can't rush this. If we come out of the gate that quickly, we're going to look like opportunists, waiting in the wings to push Biden out of the way. Let's hang back, okay. Big words I'm not reading today, I guess. Sorry. Consolidate party support and gradually move towards an active campaign. Okay? B. Everyone already knows that what Trump stands for, but they do not know what I stand for. Let's publish a comprehensive agenda dedicated to protecting our freedoms, creating jobs, and building a fairer economy for all Americans. Okay? C. The odds that we keep the Senate are low. So let's be careful about making promises we can't keep. For now, let's focus on ramping up Democrat enthusiasm and taking the fight to Trump like we never have before. We are not going back. That was one of her big punchlines. We are not going back. Time to flip the page. We went back. D. January 6th is the 400-pound gorilla in the room. Okay. So D is going with insults. Donald Trump is an existential threat to our republic. He fosters hate and division from the halls of our capital to the streets of Charlottesville. The fate of our democracy is on the line in this election. So A is, we can't rush, Let's gradually work our way to, even though she has 100 days. B is basically just telling Americans, we already know what Trump does, Vote for me so we don't have to go through another Trump term. C is mainly about enthusiasm, ramp it up. And D is just straight up insulting Trump. So I feel like I'm going with B. Very warlike of you, well-trained observers know that the odds of a Democrat whatever that word is, are slim. But that's a problem for after the election. Your agenda soon becomes a calling card for your supporters nationwide. Okay. Did that help me any? No. No. That's not helping me. I lost electoral votes. So, continuing. Your selection of Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear as your running mate has gone as well as both wings of the party. Seeing his selections as a compromise between moderates and progressives, however, he lacks experience and preparedness for politics on the national stage, and it shows in his campaign speeches. Ooh. Will you try to expand Beshear's media outreach, and if so, how will you go into doing it? Ooh. I don't know. In real life, with Tim Walz versus J.D. Vance, vice presidential debate, Walz didn't do too hot. But then we contrast to the presidency debate, and Trump didn't do too hot. So, I guess it balanced it out in real life. But this is a game, so we'll see. A, he might not use fancy words people like, but if you don't like him, you just haven't met him yet. Let's do meet and greets and more casual events so that he's more in his element. Okay? So, like, exposing him, getting him out there. B, Beshear's a young-looking guy with a nice family. Part of his victories in Kentucky have always been reaching out to young people. Why don't we do that? Okay, so reaching out to young people. C, it's true that Andy isn't the best in front of the camera. That's not why we picked him. With his good looks and even moderate tone, I think he'd do a fantastic job appealing to donors. Fundraising is important to any campaign. That just sounds like we're up for cash grab and just wanting money. D, Kentucky is one of the most conservative states in America, and he still managed to end up as one of the most popular sitting governors today. If we can transmit that nationwide, our situation is going to be a whole lot better. We have to start using that success story as part of our messaging. So exploiting him for his success. Don't know what that was. But I feel like I'm going to go with A. Like, let's do meet and greets. Let's push him out there. Beshear fits into your campaign like a glove, complementing your overall theme very nicely. Even if he isn't particularly energizing, well, he really excites your supporters, and the enthusiasm shows in your latest rallies. Okay. If you don't know, that's my brother in the background being annoying as always. That helped us. Okay, we bumped up quite a bit. Oh, click on a state you wish to visit. I'm gonna try to get Pennsylvania on my side. Many Arab Americans and pro-Palestinian activists have expressed frustration that the ongoing Democrat National Convention does not have a Palestinian American speaker scheduled. Despite allowing the parent of an American held captive by Hamas to speak, do you feel strongly about interviewing and resolving this? A, we are not making alterations to the speaking schedule on the fly, but we have made Palestinians heard in other ways during this convention. We held a panel on Palestinian suffering, attracting hundreds of attendees. Many were deeply moved by their stories. B, I'm sure we could find a place to slip in a 2-minute slot for Palestinian American speaker somewhere. Couldn't we have that Georgia State Representative speak? Her speech wasn't controversial at all. Let's go with the safer option here. B. You people know, right? Okay, people feel represented. Okay, that's good. That helped me. Okay, and I'm back to winning. Again, not by a lot, but I'm back to winning. The last time a Democrat National Convention was held in Chicago, the last time a president dropped out in favor of his vice president, absolutely nothing went right. Today, though, it's clear that that's not the case. Instead, the convention is cheering for you. You've brought the energy back. You've brought the joy back. With this in mind, how will you close this convention? Okay, Donald Trump was... Sorry guys, that's my mom. He's being loud as always. Anyways, Donald Trump wants to return to an America where organized labor is gutted, civil rights for women and people of color are non-existent, and the American economy is primarily an engine for the enrichment of himself as the 1%. We've got one message for him. We are not going back. There's so much more than the United States invited us, no matter our color, creed, gender identity, or social orientation. We are bound by the founding promises of America. That's why I create equal to and bound by great oaths and eligible rights. We have made so much progress together over the past 4 years, investing in American workers, American jobs, American infrastructure, and America's future. We have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that when you invest in American people, they deliver. Don't know why, but the last answer's giving me like Republican conservative vibes, you know, American workers, American jobs. I mean, both parties support, you know, American infrastructure, but it sounds more Republican than Democrat. But I'm gonna go with this one. Pundits agree that your speech places a strong emphasis on unity. Okay. Same thing. Nothing really moved. My support went down in Pennsylvania, though. Yeah, DC, I'm winning, definitely. Yeah, so click on a state. Should I go for it? Should I go for Ohio? I'm gonna go for Ohio. Rumors are abound that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. may drop out of the race and endorse Donald Trump. However, your campaign tells you that he's offering to endorse you instead if you negotiate with him. Pundits are unsure. Who will this help more, you or Trump? How will you respond? Personally, I don't like Kennedy. I like John F. Kennedy, the president, not his nephew. I think that's his nephew. Anyways, I'm not offering him a thing, but regardless of who he endorses, Kennedy dropping out provides us an opportunity to stop bleeding with these working class types in the Midwest. Kennedy's coalition is broad, blacks focus, real focus on pulling back some of the Democrat-leaning voters, especially this affected younger ones. This could be helpful, but we're not making a deal out of this lunatic conspiracy theorist. Kennedy's a nut. Well, that tells me everything. We need the advantage we can get. But let's not go out there and just call him a nut and, you know. But then this is just calling him a lunatic conspiracy theorist, which he is. Sorry if that offends you, but the truth's out there. He is a lunatic. I'm gonna go with this one. It kind of explains more. So, course of action in any case, Kennedy announces his endorsement of Donald Trump shortly after his own withdrawal. Yeah, that's why he's our current Secretary of Health and Human Services, which is a horrible pick. Because he thinks vaccines produce autism. Don't know why, but he believes that. Anyways. Ooh, that's gonna be a long video. I need to hurry up. Donald Trump has described his vision on trade policy as neo-mercantilist, referring to the historical ideology in which a government attempts to maximize its exports and minimize its imports via increased domestic production and high tariffs. He has even floated eliminating the income tax and funding the federal government solely through a universal tariff. What do you think of these policies? You know what this is giving me? Something, the Embargo Act. The Embargo Act that, Thomas Jefferson, our third U.S. president, He created this thing called the Embargo Act, which cut off all ties and trades with all countries around the world. Yeah, that hurt us more than it helped us. So he kind of lifted that, but he still banned trade with Great Britain and France and like French territories and all that. So yeah, didn't know that when I do. Anyways, when Donald Trump was president, he waged trade war by tweet, costing American families billions and devastating our trade relationship. The idea that we don't support protecting our workers is ridiculous. We're willing to protect tariffs to protect American industry, including steel, aluminum, solar panels, electric cars, from Chinese competition using cheap labor. I support holding Chinese accountable and working to keep manufacturing jobs in America. I oppose whatever this is. A universal tariff would cause prices to skyrocket, making it harder for families to make ends meet. Yes, that sounds like a Harris thing to say. And it made me sound like I had zero economic sense. Okay, that's fun. Still winning. Didn't help me. It helped. Well, maybe it helped me a little bit. I don't know. Let's go to North Carolina. Earlier this year, negotiations for the bipartisan, bipartisan okay, cannot read today. Bipartisan cinema Langford immigration bill collapsed after Donald Trump loudly and publicly opposed it. Since then, the border issue has only grown in silence. That's not silence, but I'm gonna say this. Where do you stand on this issue? I don't think she really cared about illegal immigrants, to be honest. But it is North Carolina, and I feel like they're pretty supportive of taking illegal immigrants out. Oh, it's important to order southern border, but we must also remember that no human is illegal. We must bring justice, dignity, and fairness to documented and undocumented immigrants through comprehensive immigration reform. Okay, we do not want to say Republicans are a cult, because that would not help us. We'll go with this one. That didn't budge at all, did it? No, it did not. Okay. Recently, the Georgia Supreme Court struck down the state's 6-week abortion ban, ruling that it violated the Georgia Constitution. Abortion has been a salient political issue since the 2022 Dobbs decision overturning Roe v. Wade. And you've been credited with single-handedly halting Republican monumentum. I cannot read today. In 2022, how do you plan to approach abortion rights as you campaign? Well, as we all know, Harris was very open about abortion rights. This one. Ooh, that kind of hurt me. And ooh, that hurt me. It's fine. We do want to keep Pennsylvania though. Let's just at least have that. Feeling extra confident in honest chances before Biden's withdrawal, Donald Trump was convinced by his son to choose Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio as his running mate. Do you have anything to say on the selection of Mr. Vance? Yes. Oh, the game? Oh, okay. Vance isn't just radical, he's weird. Talking about surveilling pregnant women, that's weird. Disbarring women without children, that's weird. And even weirder rumors, if he could get up from his couch and show up, I'm sure my running mate would destroy him in any debate. He did not. And we know that Tim Walz is horrible. J.D. Vance represents the extremist agenda of 2025. If he gets his way, millions of women will be stripped of their right to choose and millions will lose their jobs in healthcare. There's nothing I can say that's already been said. J.D. Vance is emblematic of Donald Trump. Should we talk about Project 2025 or how weird and sicko he is? Oh, that helped me. I mean, barely. But, so, I'm gonna call this a two-parter, guys. I talk a lot. Not in real life. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna count this as a two-parter because this game's kind of long, but it also depends on how long you sit here and talk, which I do. Anyways, so here is the current estimated vote for the electoral vote. And here's a popular vote. I'm winning by like 1%, so yeah. Part two will be out in the next couple days, maybe. Sorry about that. We're slamming doors, I guess. Winning by just 2 electoral votes, so yeah. But that's this video. This will be two-parter, as I said. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment. In the comments, put what candidates you'd like to see, what other political games you'd like me to play. And yeah. Yeah, I hope you're having a good night, day, morning, afternoon, whatever time you're watching this. And I'll see you all later. Goodbye.